This is PUNSH Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Russell Jr., Devin Haney is willing to replace Rollie Romero in case Showtime boots and cancels Rollie Romero. Y'all already know Rollie Romero is facing sexual allegation and is going on an investigation as well. Lady has gone to the cops. A couple of ladies have expressed that they have been sexually abused by Rollie Romero, but yet he has been charged and he's innocent to proven guilty. But if Showtime, cancels Rollie Romero, then it would look like he did something. I think they're doing a disservice if they do that. But if they do, which fight is more interesting? Devin Haney versus Gervonta Davis is is an interesting fight in the 135-pound division. Gary Russell Jr., look, I've been stating for a long time, Gary Russell Jr. and Gervonta Davis is one of the most exciting matchups in the sport of boxing. One of the most exciting matchups in the sport of boxing. You got speed, power, the combination of a Gary Russell Jr. We still haven't seen him. It's unfortunate the way his career has gone. But if you put that fight together, I know that he's a smaller guy, 126-pounder, but I just been saying this since, look, if you look, 2000, one of my first videos when I started this in 2018, that's one of my first videos. Go check it out. Look at the date. So I was always intrigued with this fight. And then the following year, 2019, check this out. So I was always intrigued with a Gary Russell Jr., Gervonta Davis fight. Gervonta Davis fight. Now, I do believe, look, they said that Devin Haney is interested. Eddie Hearn said that Devin Haney is interested in Gervonta Davis. But yet I'm thinking, was he that interested? Were Eddie Hearn and Devin Haney, DHP, really that interested in Gervonta Davis because he ain't had no opponent? Why didn't y'all just send some type of some type of deal, some type of term sheet, since everybody didn't want a piece of Devin Haney like they were saying, and JoJo Diaz was going to fight Ryan Garcia? Why didn't the effort of getting that type of fight with Gervonta Davis came through fruition? Why didn't he sit there? Devin Haney is supposed to be a network free agent, but now that he is hooked on a fight, now they want to fight a Gervonta Davis. Now they free, and this is the things that I really dislike about the sport of boxing. A lot of promoters and a lot of fighters like to talk. Man, how about show some paperwork? So see that y'all really serious, especially the fighters that call themselves bosses. If you really wanted Gervonta Davis, you didn't have an opponent. We heard fights like Maxie Hughes versus Devin Haney, fights like Lee Selby versus Devin Haney, and the JoJo Diaz and Ryan Garcia fell apart. But why didn't around that time you seek to fight? Y'all both cool with Mayweather. So I think that was the easiest fight to make. But it is what it is. Now, Gary Russell Jr., he's with not with the same camp, but with Al Heyman. That is, everybody got a relationship with Al Heyman except for Devin Haney. But I'm just talking about Tank Davis and Gary Russell Jr. I still can't believe that Gary Russell Jr. didn't get the Leo Santa Cruz fight. He should have got the Leo Santa Cruz fight before Tank Davis. I think this is an intriguing matchup. I think this fight should happen. As a matter of fact, if it's what is it, like 3 weeks, preparation, or 4 weeks preparation for Gary Russell Jr. to get inside the gym and prepare for Gervonta Davis, I think they should take that fight. I think it's a safer fight if they really want Gervonta Davis to be safe. But I think that Gary Russell Jr. possesses the skills and talent to actually give Gervonta Davis some type of trouble. Now, y'all already know in the recent past, Gary Russell Jr., I think his hands is getting a little brittle, but he still possesses enough power and he still possesses that type of speed, even though we haven't seen it for a while. But I think, he stays in the gym. He's serious about his craft. And I think it will be a very intriguing match. I think it will be the most intriguing matchup for Gervonta Davis. And it's also going to gauge where Gervonta Davis is really at, because Gary Russell Jr. has lost to the likes of Lomachenko, in which it wasn't a shutout. And I think it was a closer fight than what people give it credit to. But I think that's a good fight. I think that when it comes to Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr., that fight could have been made easily. I think right now that's all clout with Eddie Hearn and just using the Gervonta Davis name probably to build his next upcoming fight. The the fight still hasn't been signed with Jojo Diaz and Devin Haney. So I don't know what's going on with Devin Haney. I don't know who's the boss. I don't know if he's the boss of his own company. I don't know if Eddie Hearn is boss. He's a network free agent. I don't know what the hell is going on with that type of relationship. But if they could get that fight, I hope they could get it done. Shakur Stevenson he wants to fight also Gervonta Davis, but of course he just finished beating Jamel Herring. But a lot of people want Gervonta Davis. Tevin Farmer wants Gervonta Davis. A lot of people want Gervonta Davis, but what does he got to offer? You know what I'm saying? Of course he's a name, but seems like more people are intrigued to fight Gervonta Davis than actually win some titles or unify. Not unified, because if you really think about it, see, this is how boxing really exposed themselves. You know, I thought that Gervonta Davis was a 3-division world champion, right? Showtime, Jim Gray said it. 3-division world champion, right? And Devin Haney is a champion. I mean, Devin Haney don't have to fight Jojo Diaz. That's not a mandatory, right? I mean, and if it was a mandatory, isn't a unification trumps the mandatory? Of course not. Gervonta Davis got a regular belt. You understand? You understand what I'm trying to say? So stop it, Showtime. Come on, man. Do a better job, man. Stop trying to fake the people with the 3-division world champion. Anyway, I think it's a good fight. Any of these fights is good. Let me know what y'all think. I think I'm more towards the realistic. I think the realistic fight would probably be Gary Russell Jr. because he got no type of fights lined up. And if they replace Rollie, you know, I don't think they do the Devin Haney fight. They would have been done that already. So yeah, Tevin Farmer, that's another fight right there where they was going back and forth. But Tevin Farmer hasn't been in the ring for quite some time, and I just don't think he got beaten by Jojo Diaz. Gary Russell Jr. beat Jojo Diaz. So I just think that I think a Gary Russell Jr. and the Tank Davis is a fight that needs to happen. It needs to happen on the PBC banner as well. I think it'll do a good service for Gary Russell Jr. because I don't like the way his career has been going, and I think this fight right here will be it will be the biggest fight of his career. He'll make more money in this fight, and I think Gary Russell Jr. needs this, in my opinion. Let me know what y'all think, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, get my updated videos. If you want to become a member, y'all already know the link is in the description box. And thanks for all the people that's been supporting the channel. I love y'all. God bless, and on to the next.